The Bridge: How to Master the Art of Communication. Part 1. Introduction. Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome back to English Parchment. We are so glad you joined us today. Our mission here is to help you build your English skills through stories and topics that truly change your life. Before we begin this masterclass on communication, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It is the best way to support us, and it ensures you never miss a step on your journey to becoming a confident English speaker. Now imagine this. You are at a job interview for your dream position, or perhaps you are on a first date with someone you really like. Or maybe you are trying to explain a big mistake to your boss. You have the English vocabulary in your head. You know the grammar. But as you speak, you see the other person's face. They look confused. They look bored. Or worse, they look angry. You realized too late that you said the right words, but you had the wrong communication. Communication is not just about the words that come out of your mouth. It is a bridge between two minds. If the bridge is broken, the information cannot cross. Most people think that good communicators are born that way. They think it is a talent, but they are wrong. Communication is a skill, like driving a car or cooking a meal. It can be learned, practiced, and mastered. In this video, we are going to explore the secrets of world-class communication. We will talk about the 7-38-55 rule, the power of active listening, and how to use your body to speak louder than your voice. If you stay with us until the end, I will share the mirror technique, a 5-minute daily exercise that will transform how people perceive you in any conversation. Let's learn how to build better bridges. Part 2. The 7-38-55 rule. The secret language. To improve your communication, you must first understand what communication actually is. Many students focus 100% of their energy on words. They think, if I know the perfect English word, I will be a great communicator. But science tells a different story. In the 1960s, a researcher named Albert Mehrabian studied how humans perceive emotions. He came up with the 7-38-55 rule. According to this rule, 7% of the message is conveyed through words. 38% is conveyed through tone of voice. 55% is conveyed through body language. Think about that for a second. More than 90% of what you say has nothing to do with the words you choose. If you say, "I am happy to see you," in a flat, bored voice while looking at your phone, the other person will not believe you. They will believe your body and your tone, not your words. For a B1 learner, this is actually good news. It means that even if your English vocabulary is limited, you can still be a powerful communicator if you master your tone and your posture. You can communicate confidence, kindness, and intelligence through how you sit, how you smile, and the music in your voice. Part 3. The foundation. 2 ears, 1 mouth. There is an old saying, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Most people don't listen. They just wait for their turn to talk. While the other person is speaking, they are in their own heads, planning what they will say next. This is not communication. It is 2 people talking at each other, not with each other. To be a great communicator, you must practice active listening. This means listening with your whole body, eye contact. Look at the person. It shows you value them. Nodding. Small nods show you are following the story. Verbal encouragement. Simple sounds like, I see, right, or go on. Keep the conversation flowing. When you truly listen, you hear more than just words. You hear the subtext. You hear the fear, the excitement, or the hidden question behind what they are saying. When it is finally your turn to speak, you can respond to their feelings, not just their sentences. This creates a deep connection that words alone can never achieve. Part 4. The 4 C's of clear communication. When it is your turn to speak, especially in a second language like English, you should follow the 4 C's. This will ensure that your message is understood every time. 1. Clear. Don't use fancy words if a simple one will do. The goal of communication is to be understood, not to sound like a dictionary. Use short sentences. 2. Concise. Don't use 10 words when 5 will work. In the professional world, people are busy. If you take too long to get to the point, they will stop listening. 3. Correct. This doesn't mean perfect grammar. It means your facts are correct and your tone matches the situation. Don't use slang in a business meeting, and don't be too formal at a party. 4. Courteous. Be polite. Use please, thank you, and I appreciate that. Kindness is a universal language that makes the bridge of communication stronger. As a B1 student, you might worry about making mistakes. But if you are clear, concise, and courteous, people will forgive a small grammar error. They care about the message, not the packaging. Part 5. The power of empathy and the map. One of the biggest barriers to communication is that we all have a different map of the world. Imagine you see a large animal in the forest. You think it is a beautiful deer. Your friend thinks it is a dangerous predator. You are looking at the same thing, but you see it differently because of your past experiences. Great communicators understand that the person they are talking to has a different map than they do. This is where empathy comes in. Empathy is the ability to step into someone else's shoes and understand their perspective. Before you speak, ask yourself, how does this person feel right now? What are they afraid of? What do they want? If you are talking to a co-worker who is stressed, don't just ask for the report. Say, I know you've been working really hard lately and I appreciate it. When do you think you'll have a moment to look at the report? By acknowledging their reality, you lower their defenses. You aren't fighting their map. You are looking at it with them. This is the difference between an argument and a conversation. Part 6. Non-verbal communication. Speaking without words. We already mentioned that 55% of communication is body language. Let's look at the big 3 of non-verbal communication: posture, proximity, and hand gestures. 1. Posture. If you stand with your shoulders back and your head up, you communicate high status and confidence. If you cross your arms and look down, you communicate defensiveness or boredom. To be a better communicator, try to keep your body open. 2. Proximity. This is about personal space. Different cultures have different rules for how close you should stand to someone. In some cultures, standing close shows friendship. In others, it feels aggressive. As an English learner, pay attention to how native speakers stand. If they take a step back, you are probably too close. 3. Hand gestures. Use your hands to illustrate your words. If you are talking about a big idea, move your hands wide. If you are talking about a specific point, use a small gesture. This helps the listener's brain process your information visually as well as through sound. Part 7. Communication in a second language. Let's address the elephant in the room. Communication is harder when you are doing it in English, and your level is B1. You might feel slower than you are in your native language. Here is the secret. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Many students try to speak very fast because they think it makes them sound fluent. But fast, broken English is very hard to understand. If you speak slowly and clearly, you give your brain time to find the right words, and you give the listener time to process what you are saying. Also, don't be afraid of the pause. A 3-second silence might feel like an eternity to you, but to the listener, it sounds like you are thoughtful and wise. Use pauses to emphasize your most important points. Finally, use fillers correctly. Words like well, actually, you know, and to be honest give you a few extra seconds to think while making you sound like a natural speaker. Just don't overuse them. Part 8. The art of storytelling. If you want people to remember what you said, don't just give them facts. Give them a story. The human brain is not designed to remember data points. It is designed to remember narratives. If you want to convince your boss that the team needs a new coffee machine, don't show them a chart of office happiness levels. Tell them a story about a Tuesday morning when the old machine broke and everyone was so tired they couldn't finish their work. Every good story has a simple structure. 1. The hook. Something interesting to start. 2. The conflict, the problem that needs to be solved. 3. The resolution. How things got better. Whether you are explaining your weekend to a friend or a strategy to a client, try to put your information into a mini story. It makes you more charismatic and much more memorable. Part 9. Difficult conversations. The sandwich method. One of the hardest parts of communication is giving bad news or feedback. How do you tell someone they did a poor job without hurting their feelings? We use the feedback sandwich. 1. The bread. Positive. Start with something they did well. I really liked your energy in the meeting today. 2. The meat. Constructive. Give the correction. However, I noticed that some of the numbers in your presentation were incorrect. We need to double-check those next time. 3. The bread. Positive. End with an encouraging thought. I know you're a quick learner, and I'm sure the next one will be perfect. By sandwiching the negative news between two positives, you ensure that the person stays motivated. They hear the criticism, but they don't feel attacked. This is how leaders communicate. Part 10. 3 practical exercises for daily life. To master these skills, you need to practice. Here are 3 things you can do this week. 1. The narrator exercise. Record yourself speaking English for 2 minutes on your phone. Then listen to it. Don't focus on the grammar. Focus on your tone. Do you sound bored? Do you sound nervous? Try to record it again, but this time, speak with more energy and smile while you talk. You will be amazed at the difference. 2. The eye contact challenge. Next time you go to a shop or order coffee, look the person in the eye and give them a genuine smile. Notice if the interaction feels different. Small, non-verbal changes lead to big results. 3. The 3-minute summary. After you watch a movie or read a news article, try to summarize it in English in under 3 minutes. This trains you to be concise, one of the 4 C's. Part 11. The mirror technique. The final secret. As I promised at the beginning, here is the mirror technique. Every morning, stand in front of your mirror for 5 minutes. Look at yourself and tell a short story or explain a topic in English. But here is the key. Watch your face and your body. Are you using your hands? Is your posture open? Are you smiling at the right times? Does your face match the emotion of the story? This exercise creates a feedback loop. You are seeing yourself exactly as others see you. Most of us have blind spots in our communication. Maybe we frown when we are thinking hard, or we touch our hair when we are nervous. By practicing in front of a mirror, you can edit your body language until you look like the confident, effective communicator you want to be. Part 12. Conclusion and call to action. Communication is the most important skill you will ever learn because it is the multiplier of every other skill. You can be the smartest person in the world, but if you cannot communicate your ideas, your intelligence is invisible. As you continue your English journey here on English Parchment, remember that every video we share is an opportunity to practice your listening and your understanding. You are already building your communication bridge just by being here. Now, I have a question for you. What is the hardest part of communication for you? Is it making eye contact? Is it finding the right words in English? Or is it being concise? Tell us in the comments below. We love learning from you and supporting your growth. If you found this 20-minute lesson valuable, please give the video a thumbs up and share it with a friend who wants to improve their life. And don't forget to subscribe so you can continue building your skills with us every week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your attention. And remember, the better you communicate, the more doors will open for you. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I will see you in the next story. Happy learning!